Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our new dose of Big Brother 22 All-Stars live feed spoilers. We are now in the thick of campaign season, though it's kind of a weird campaign when your two nominees are friends and don't want to throw each other under the bus.
Which we've seen a lot of this season.
But, there's still some kind of interesting things that are working behind the scenes here as people try to pinpoint exactly where they want to go from here. Also, we're gonna try to frame a narrative of David as the prince that was promised throughout this video.
Yep.
And I don't know how I'm supposed to feel if David ends up being someone we're all supposed to root for after the first, last month of just, tomfoolery.
Yeah, he's been clowning all the people in the house. He's been clowning us, but I can't help but root for him a little bit at this point.
There is a savant within him. It's just we have to get it to the surface.
Yep.
We'll talk about that and a whole lot more, but before we do, if you guys do enjoy this video, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and yeah, if you want to support us further, check those links to our store, our Patreon. We have different benefits there and live chats the last Sunday of every month.
Okay, so we'll start with some of the campaign stuff that's going on, because it looks like probably Davon will be staying. There are people who want to work with her, want her to stay around. Nicole and Danny have talked about how much they would like her to stay. Bayleigh's also been doing a little bit of campaigning around as well, talking to Enzo, who's been a little more frank with her to let her kind of know where she stands right now within the game and what's going on and stuff like that, which I'm sure Bayleigh appreciates.
I really kind of like the discussions between Enzo and Bayleigh, and the funny thing is, I think Enzo does have a mist, and we can call it the yo mist, we can call it whatever we want to call it, but he tells everyone exactly what they want to hear, including us sometimes, where I sort of get myself caught up in what Enzo is saying. It's like, oh, Enzo, he really seems to like this person. He really seems to want to work with this person. And then I'll hear him talk to a totally different person, and I'll feel the exact same thing.
I don't trust anything Enzo says. I know that this is Enzo's game. He did this last time. He did it this time. That's why he's my winner's pick. When he's talking to you, I've never met Enzo, so I don't know if it's different in real life. Like, I saw Dan in the game, and then I met Dan in real life, and I was like, oh, this is why it's like this. His charisma's crazy just being around him, and you just want to do whatever he's telling you to do. And Enzo may have that same sort of charisma. There's something about him in the game every time he's played where people want to believe what he's saying. He feels very genuine even when he's not, and he is here as well.
That's something I'm probably going to be spending the next 24 hours really kind of racking my brain over is, what could Bayleigh and Davon have done to avoid this position? There's nothing obviously they can do to save both of themselves now, but was there a situation where they could have pulled in Enzo earlier in the game? The big thing that I think is a real sliding doors moment is keeping David. Obviously, in retrospect, it feels like a mistake, and that there could have been a way to solidify Kevin and Nicole Anthony and get over all of the Janelle and Kaser craziness that was happening.
The problem with that still lies that no one over there has one HOH. And I had kept going over it in my mind too. Oh, what if Janelle had stayed? Or what if so-and-so had stayed? Or what if so-and-so... if it all still played out like this and it just would switch out whoever's going home, but it's all the same side of the house.
That is the unfortunate truth here, because as many mistakes as Bayleigh and Davon have made, and I do believe that they've made many, the biggest mistake collectively is that pretty much no one other than the Blob Alliance has really been in power, and it almost doesn't matter unless they are also finding a way to get into the Blob Alliance. You don't have to win competitions to win Big Brother, but you probably should be working with someone who is.
Yeah, and Enzo maybe could have been that person. He's an interesting guy because he likes to make his alliances pretty early on, and I think he could have ended up working with Davon or Bayleigh. He really likes them, so it could have gone that way.
Enzo, yeah, and I know Enzo's not in the Blob Alliance exactly, but he's too Blob adjacent, and I think at this point, it's a problem. And Bayleigh knows that, maybe she has some support from Enzo, maybe she has some support from David, but she would need 5 votes in order to do this. She's not even really bothering with Tyler at this point, and she's also, I think, just trying to work to make sure that even if there are some people who want to keep her over Da'Vonne, she doesn't want there to be animosity with Da'Vonne towards some of these people, because there are clearly bigger fish to fry in this game, and she doesn't want to see Da'Vonne's mind sort of clouded. And I don't think Da'Vonne is going to hold any vendettas to anyone wanting to keep Bayleigh anyway.
No, but it's a good game move for Bayleigh if she knows she's going, or she feels pretty confident that she's going, to make sure that her ride or die is going to make it further into the game, and to really help smooth some of those waters. Be like, hey, make sure that you really, work with Da'Vonne, or have something going on with Da'Vonne. Da'Vonne's not going to be bitter or mad, or she is going to be available to work with, and Da'Vonne's a great person, and I think people in the house do really like her. And after everything that has happened with Christmas, I think people like Enzo might be, he hasn't said straight out that he's done working with Christmas, but some of his just body language and actions just feel like he's distancing himself a little bit away from that.
And I think it is, and I think it's a thing. Like, I think a lot of people are probably at least psychologically distancing themselves from Christmas. I don't know if it's going to amount to her going anytime sooner, because she is certainly somebody who is so beatable at the end of the game at this point.
Yeah, that's one of the things I saw from you guys in the comments, that people are wondering, is Christmas for sure will be the next target. And, some people, yeah, maybe, but I think that she's an option now to bring to the end. She's made a lot of people really uncomfortable. People are nervous around her. People aren't liking her that much. Unless she finds some way to completely turn her game around, this is someone who is beatable.
Let's get to the good and bad news with Da'Vonne at the moment, because the good news, I think, at least for her, is if she gets power, she wants to put up Tyler and Christmas, which makes total sense. Christmas is never going to imagine she can work with Da'Vonne ever again, and Da'Vonne's never going to want to work with Christmas again. And no. Tyler, there's obviously a lot of just drama and everything else that has unfolded this past week. I'm fine with all of that. The bad is Da'Vonne has too much trust in Nicole. Like, I've seen this play out now. I think because they were on a same season, and I think Nicole, she does sort of have, there's a lot of baggage here from Big Brother 18, and I don't think Nicole wants to put Da'Vonne up outright or whatever, but I think Nicole ultimately will be fine with Da'Vonne going, and I think Da'Vonne just, she doesn't see that a lot, and this has always been her problem, right? Like, she's really perceptive at times, but she gets some bad reads as well.
But on the opposite side, it's also a little bit helpful that Nicole is sort of not necessarily willing to work with her, but isn't really willing to put her up. So in at least that way, if Nicole is up, Da'Vonne may not be a target. If she's not looking to be the person to get out Da'Vonne, then in a way, she's still kind of an ally. She's sort of an ally that you keep one eye on just in case.
It's true, and I think at this point, let's be real here, it's not like Da'Vonne has a lot of options, really, honestly.
Yeah, none of the underdogs really have a lot of options here. They gotta find a way to work with what's in the house right now.
What are her options here? She's got Kevin, who occasionally is right and then occasionally is catastrophically wrong. Enzo, who will tell her whatever she wants to hear at any given moment. David, who has been driving the clown car around for weeks on end.
But it looks like David is starting to get ready to drive that clown car up to some important people. He has said that if he gets any kind of power, he's ready to target Cody, which is great that somebody's actually looking to finally target him. Danny, Ian, or Nicole. And all of these people are good people that he should be targeting. And I'm saying that as an Ian fan. Ian shouldn't be in this game anymore. He's going to win.
Don't target Ian, David. Just for my heart. Like, I understand everything else. David, he is coming very close to trading in this clown car for, like, let's say, like an Aston Martin, like some really, really fancy car. He's He's getting there. He's getting there. No, Ian is not a member of the dominant alliance controlling the game. David is very wrong about that, but he's right about a lot else.
But Ian is very dangerous in this game, and he's not wrong about that.
I think Ian, last week it really felt like everything was turning on Ian in the aftermath of the wall yeller and what he tried to put out. And I feel like Ian, for a few days, was doing a good job, but it feels like things are kind of turning on Ian a little bit again, where Enzo is talking about maybe he would backdoor Ian in a situation, even if he put up some other...
He already said that, and he didn't do squadoosh. So, Enzo, take a seat.
Enzo keeps talking about, yo, I'm gonna make a big move. Enzo, you're not gonna try to win this next HOH because you're pretty much working with every single person left in the game at this point.
Yeah, you already said that you were gonna backdoor Ian, and that's where I thought you were going. You had an opportunity. No one was gonna be mad at you except Nicole, and you didn't do anything about it. So, yeah, you can stop.
I really do kind of want to see David win the next HOH at this point, mostly because I feel like David is going to give like a top 10 nominee speech, for example. He's going to go up there and be like, Danny, you don't have any credit with me. You have squandered it all. He's going to like try to pull some like philosophical quote out at some point. David is sort of like the ironic gift that we all need in 2020 at this point, and this is why maybe it's just I've fallen too much in love with the person running David's Twitter account, which I think is the greatest Big Brother Twitter account by far this summer.
Yeah, I don't know who's running his account, but they're great.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I'm just glad that David recognizes that Memphis is nothing. He does not need to have a beef with Memphis or put Memphis on the block because Memphis is just going to sleep for the next month.
Yeah, and I think enough time has just passed, and it was such a ridiculous, petty nonsense of what Memphis was doing, sort of. You gotta earn your stripes to be in this game. Okay, great. He's earned his stripes. He's in the game. Maybe he is driving around the clown car, but he's now done everything. He's won a competition. He's been on the block. He's played in the veto. He didn't go home. David is here, guys. So, David, I would love to see a David HOH. I think it would just be so incredibly entertaining and in a more fun, ridiculous kind of way. And there's not been a lot of those types of moments this season, and I think we need them.
Yeah, I have been a big proponent of drama. I don't know if I love some of the drama the past 36 hours as much as what I was kind of hoping for. I like silly drama. I want the champagne gate of The Bachelor transferred over to Big Brother.
Yeah, something a little not as serious, and I think that David can bring some of that.
Yeah, I totally do. And there's one more thing on Enzo that I wanted to mention here because I feel like Enzo, he's sort of spilling some of the tea on Christmas to Bayleigh and talking a little bit about how... don't listen to this. There's obviously other duos. Everybody knows it. He's just being very honest with. I kind of feel like Enzo is just trying to set up Bayleigh more and more so that she eviscerates Christmas further in her speech, and that makes Christmas an even bigger target.
I think it's part of it. I think it is just Enzo is giving them what they wanted from Christmas. This is why, I've seen people talking about, oh, well, this is Big Brother. Of course Christmas is lying. You're allowed to lie. This is a house built on lies.
Yeah.
True. It is. But you have to be able to sell the lie. If you're lying to somebody and they know you're lying and you're still dying on this hill and everybody in the room knows it's a flat out lie, then people are going to get mad. You're not able to sell somebody on something they know isn't true. It doesn't get you anywhere. But for Enzo to tell the truth like that and be like, of course we all know there's other duos in the house. Everybody knows it. Then that builds some David type credit with Bayleigh, and she will be able to tell Davon something like this. And then that may build something with Enzo. Enzo is so good at this game.
He absolutely is. He is the opposite of Christmas right now, where it's like, yeah, Christmas can do whatever she wants as HOH, but there are consequences to your actions, and there are consequences to telling a very bad lie that no one is ever going to believe.
Yeah.
All right, well, before we conclude this video, I just want to give a little bit more condolences to Cody, because Cody was told late yesterday that his grandfather has passed away. And no matter what we feel about anybody in Big Brother, you know, these are real people with real lives, and they go through things in there that I think a lot of us on the outside can never imagine. I can't imagine a position of being told you've lost a loved one while cameras are on you and you're in this stressful pressure cooker environment.
Yeah, grandparents are really special, and to lose a grandparent, especially when he's in this type of situation, he's in the house, so he's unable to really, not only are cameras on him, but he's unable to go to the funeral or be with his family or anything. Something very similar happened to me months ago. My Nana passed away up in Canada. I wasn't able to go because of everything that's going on with the health crisis. I couldn't be with my family. That type of stuff sits with you. And so, you know, my heart really goes out to Cody for this.
Yeah, and I am appreciative of the other house guests who have been there for him and shown support. It does give you a sense of the humanity of a lot of the people, and you know, we all sit out here and have fun, you know, backs and forths about the game and all the nonsense, but you know, humanity is always the most important thing, and I'm glad to see he has some of that support. Well, we will be back later tonight. We will talk through the episode because I think Jess and I both were very, very curious to see how this Tyler situation is going to be presented.
Yeah.
If it's going to be presented, but
it will be.
I hope. I don't know how they're going to frame this, but what do you guys think is going to happen tonight? And where do you think Bayleigh and Davon's biggest mistake was game-wise? Was it back early on? Was it all the way back in the first week? Let us know in the comments, and if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, support us further. Check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.